Good morning again, Year 11. Mr. Gumby here. It's that time again. It's assembly time. I really enjoy having something to say to you all, even though I am sat again in an empty room in school and it's freezing with no Mr. Raymond with us today, so I'm on my own. But what I have found is somebody to help me later on when we do our acknowledgements, so I'm not the only one sat here clapping. So, your assembly this week, it follows on from last week. The theme last week was about gratitude and being thankful for some of the things that we have in our lives. Moving on from that this week, and we're going to talk about the importance of being kind to yourself and not being too harsh on yourself, not being down on yourself, and again, being positive. So a lot of the assemblies at the moment are about being positive, because we do think it's really important at the moment to stay positive in the struggling times that some of us are finding ourselves in with mental well-being. That's tough at the moment. It's for everybody. If you're a little bit down sometimes, I'm sure you're not the only one. But what we do have to do is figure out ways of helping us improve our moods and our feelings, and learn as we get older to control that better. And that's what we're going to talk about. Just before we do, this week is National Reading Week. So this slide is just to remind you of that, really. And one of the good things about reading is it does take your mind off maybe worries. If anybody's worried about things, it engages your brain and makes you think about other things. At the moment, I'm reading a book about cricket, a cricket book written by Bumble, as he's known, David Lloyd, who, if you know cricket, he's on the TV. So I'm reading one of his books. It's quite a funny book. He's quite a funny character, so it's quite a good thing to cheer me up. I've read a lot of books over lockdown. I don't tend to read stories so much, but I read a lot of sports biographies. So I've also just read Shane Warne's biography as well, and Joe Root's. So keep yourself busy. Obviously, you spend a lot of time indoors. You've got a lot of work to do, we know that, but in your spare time, it's really good routine to get into if you can find something interesting that interests you that you can read. So have a think about finding a book, and that can help you mentally as well. So last week we talked, as I said before, we talked about gratitude and things that you're thankful for. I've had a think this week. I'm really thankful for just the basics, really. Even just being sat in work, having a job at this time that we're in now. Lots of adults are struggling with their jobs. Maybe have to be made unemployed for a time, or maybe a furlough, so we're not earning as much money as they used to do, and things can get quite tough sometimes. So I'm grateful to have such a good job where I get to speak to, maybe not face to face at the moment, but I get to speak to you lot and tell you how I'm doing and give you some advice and hopefully keep you going a little bit. And you keep me going too. Having you there and speaking to you keeps me going. So I'm thankful for that. I'm just thankful for the basics, living in a stable country, because when you look at the news, not everybody does. Some people live in countries where they may not feel safe. I'm thankful for having a car, a house, just the basics, and a family that loves me. So these are all things that we need to think about to cheer ourselves up and to make us more positive on a daily basis. Okay, so we move on to talking about being kind to yourself. Again, it's about being positive. It's about not looking at the negatives, because we can all do that. We can all look at all the things we do wrong or the things we're not good at. What we need to do is look at all the things that we're good at and the good things that we're doing. So not judging yourself, not holding yourself to an impossibly high standard. So you can't look at other people who may be brilliant at maths. For example, when I was in school, I used to look at people in my class and think I can never be as good at maths as they are. So don't compare yourself to others. Just be the best that you can be, because you will be good at different things to your friends. Don't worry about making mistakes either. When you're growing up at your age now, you will make loads of mistakes. I still make loads of mistakes, and I'm 43. Okay, so it's about learning from your mistakes and not being worried about making mistakes or not being good enough. All you do is you be yourself and you do the best that you can do when you do it. And if you have a good attitude and a good work ethic, that will get you where you need to get to. So with self-esteem and self-compassion, self-esteem is when you feel good about yourself. Whether we fail or we make mistakes, it's still about making sure that you're focusing on the positives. And self-compassion is treating ourselves kindly, even though sometimes we do feel inadequate. You've got to keep saying to yourself and thinking to yourself that you are doing the right things. You're at home now, and most of you are doing your work, as we know, and that's really good. So keep doing the things that are keeping you busy. Get in a routine, and make sure that you're also looking after yourself mentally. So it's not all about doing your schoolwork at the moment. It's about getting the balance right and making sure that you're happy, as happy as you can be. You're confident, and you're feeling that you have a lot of self-esteem. Okay, a lot of self-worth. That means that you feel good about yourself. One of the things that I think is important, and I would have loved to have done this when I was your age, is thinking about your future self. If I could go back to being 16 and give myself some advice, I would give myself so much advice. Think about your future self and what you would do for your future self. For example, saving money would be one for me. I've never really been a saver, always been a spender. I would love to have some money there saved up for something, just to spend, especially during these times. Maybe a holiday for when the virus is all gone. Maybe also just the basics. It says on my notes here, wearing sunscreen. That's a very good one. A note to yourself for when you get older. Getting into a positive, good routine is important at the moment. The main one that I would think about in terms of myself and the advice I would give myself, it really relates to school, because what I did at school, and the reason I can give you advice on this is because I've been there. I kind of cruised too much. I did the basics. I did well in school. I got good exam results, but I could have got better. And I always look back now and I think, well, these exam results follow you around, and they are good, but they're not brilliant. They're not as, nines across the board as I'm not saying I could have got nines, but I could have definitely done better. So I would give myself advice to say, work harder in school and not just cruise and do the bare minimum here and there, but try your best in everything you do. That's what I would say to myself. Another one would be not to worry so much. I was a worrier when I was your age, and I found out that you can only produce your best work, no matter what it is, when you're not worried. I found this out mainly through sport, but it does relate to other areas of your life. So, for example, when I used to play big football games, I'm a bit old for that now, even though I'm still playing it. When I used to play in finals or semi-finals, I used to sometimes get a little bit worried. But the older I got and the more I played in big football games, the more I realised that you only play to your best if you're not worried or stressed, and you try to relax as much as you can. And that relates to everything, really. You will only produce your best if you can get yourself in a state where you can perform, and you can't really do that if you're stressed and you're worried. Okay, so that is also something that I would try to teach myself, and it was something that I would give myself advice on. But it does take time. It's quite difficult to do at your age, and you learn that as you're getting older. You're learning a lot of new things going through your teenage years now, and that for me is one of them. Give yourself praise. Very important. Don't be down on yourself too much. You are worth it. Welcome the good things that come your way. Any praise or compliments or any certificates in today's assembly. Some people sometimes get a bit shy of that and a bit, don't want the limelight, but welcome it and change your perspective on what you deserve. If you're working hard, you deserve some acknowledgement, and being positive creates a positive mindset, as we know. Okay? Mentioned this before about being yourself. As you're getting older now, you're starting to realise this more and more. My daughter's 5, and one of the things you notice with 5-year-olds is they do copy each other an awful lot. If someone likes a certain thing, my daughter will like it. If someone likes a certain song, my daughter will like it. If someone's playing a certain game, she'll want to play that game. As you get older now, and through your teenage years, you'll hear the phrase "finding yourself." I mean, what that means is different for different people, but what it's getting at is realizing who you are, what makes you comfortable, what makes you content in your life. And it's quite a big part of growing up, but it does take time. And it's not to be worried about. It just takes time, and it will come as it comes. So just be kind to yourself, be compassionate to yourself, and don't be hard on yourself. You are not the same as everybody else. We will like different things. You'll react to different situations in different ways. It doesn't mean you are any less or any less good at things. So what can you do today or this weekend or in the next week that is about being kind to yourself? Well, I've been thinking about this. I've set some of my own little targets. I've been struggling to sleep a lot recently. I don't know why. So in order to help me sleep a little bit better, I've decided that I need to get into a better routine. I'm going to go to bed earlier. I'm going to exercise more to try and make myself more tired. I'm going to eat healthier. And I'm also going to encourage myself to have, even though I do try to be positive, sometimes I do let myself get a little bit down in certain ways. So I'm going to try even harder to have a more positive outlook. So there are some of the things I'm going to do over the next week or so to try and be kind to myself. So have a think about it. What can you do in order to be more positive and be kind to yourself? Now, more than ever now at the moment, it's finding things that's good for you, that will help your well-being. So we do emphasize the importance of continuing your schoolwork at home, and that is really important. We need you to get the grades even though you're not in school, and again, we know how difficult this is. It's difficult for your teachers teach you in the way that we're teaching you. We would love you to be back in school. But it's also important for you to realise it's not the be-all and end-all. It's important, get the work done, but also look after yourself. So when you're not on the screen, you're not working, get out there, get in the garden if you've got a garden, go for a walk with your parents, get outside, get some fresh air, get active, or do something creative like arts or English or writing or something that's creative that can give your mind a break from the learning environment. That's really important for your well-being. So these are just certain things that you can do to look after yourself, as well as we've mentioned, doing your work. But don't let that take over your life. It's important that you do normal things. Okay? Just talking about being creative, I'm just going to mention an art and an English competition here. So it's called Looking Forward. If you have a read of the slide, I'm going to send you this also on the chat, on the group chat. If you're interested, then please, entries for English email to Miss Pass, and for entries to art to Miss Hall. The email addresses are on the slide there. And this is how you enter. There's also a science competition. There was a science competition on the newsletter last week. There is a new one on this week. So the newsletter will be going out today at some point. I'll be putting that on the year group chat. So have a look at the newsletter. Both these competitions will be on there just to give you some more information on them. So I'm not going to read all through the slides now, it'll take too long, but have a look at the competitions, enter them. Again, it's something to do, something to keep you occupied. Have a look at those. And now moving on to acknowledgements. I mentioned before about a bit of help on the acknowledgements this week. I'm going to use some special effects rather than just sit here on my own doing this. So this week we have some fake applause to help me out. Moving on to our awards for this week for home learning. Lots and lots of awards every week, more and more that are coming in, so that emphasises more and more work being done and more students getting involved. First of all, English, and Oliver Mackay. Well done to Oliver. Excellent contribution to online lessons. Well done, Oliver. And moving on to English as an additional language, Sabia Nawaz. Excellent, well done. Very determined to finish her work. She finds it quite challenging at times, but doesn't give up. and that's a great example to everyone, because we all find things challenging, but continuing with it and not giving up, it gets you success in the end. So well done to Sabia. For maths this week, I have not got one at the moment. I will get Mr. Long to send an e-certificate out for the maths winner for this week. Moving on to science, thank you to Rayanne from her teacher. It says for showing resilience and completing her work. So well done to Rayanne Ashton. And that's not the first certificate Rayanne's got during lockdown, so well done, Ran. It's showing a good attitude. Well done. In MFL, Anisa Hussain and Sonia Hussain. Anisa for engaging well with her work over the last few lessons, and Sonia for good engagement with her classwork too, so well done. In geography, Elizabeth Ola engaged in every lesson this week and being active on live lessons, giving answers and putting 100% effort into her work. Absolutely fantastic. Well done to you. And moving on to history, you can see there, Harrison Cook, well done to you. That's what I was trying to do, it's come on in the end. Has engaged in every lesson so far, 100% attendance, have followed the GCSE study unit with effort and determination, making great progress. So absolutely fantastic. Well done to Harrison. Moving on to religious studies, Samaya Begum, good quality work and engagement, so well done to Samaya. Again, a lot of these students are popping up every week now, so excellent, well done. And now moving on to PE, obviously the most important subject, that I like to think anyway. I don't think everybody thinks that, but it's as we keep talking about, a great way of keeping motivated and keeping yourself feeling good during lockdown. Well done to Caitlin McDonald, fantastic engagement in every GCSE PE lesson, well done. And moving on again to computer science, Akil Ali, excellent engagement, returned all work to a high standard. Well done, Akil. And just while Akil is on, I'll mention him. He's also doing well in the school fantasy football league that's just started. So if you're interested in the fantasy football, again, look on the newsletter that's going to be coming out today. And there's a link on there for you to join the fantasy football. Akil's doing really well in that, so well done, Akil. I think his team's called Mo Akil's at the Wheel or something like that, so well done. And dance, moving on to dance, Norman Ione has completed all of her work set and is showing great resilience, so well done, Norman. We're coming towards the end, I think, now. We've got the arts, so arts, Ilyas Mohammed showing determination in creating a fantastic biro pen drawing. He's been brilliant, so well done to Ilyas. I've just lost my applause again, and I found it again. There we go. Well done, Ilyas. And music to Jessica Barnes, showing a great attitude to online lessons. Well done to Jessica. Food technology goes to Marta Balmander. Fantastic response to learning this week. The selection of dishes for her exam is superb and highly skilled, so well done to Marta. And I think Marta has another one. She does have another one, and it's for business studies, having also shown a great effort in business studies, so well done again to Marta. Excellent, well done. In enterprise, Aftab Arshad, focusing and working really well. Well done, Aftab. In media, Ashley Clegg. I've seen Ashley, he's been in school, good to see him, but he's also working very hard, as this certificate shows, so well done to Ashley. In media, focused and working hard to complete his work. Well done to Ashley. Health and social care. Amina Asghar, working hard to complete her online assessments and tasks. Well done, Amina. That concludes our acknowledgements for this week. So well done to all those people. It is fantastic the number of nominations I'm getting. As I said about the maths one, I will get Mr. Long to forward you, whoever has won that, an e-certificate. There will be one, it's just Mr. Long wasn't in yesterday. But these are my usual reminders when we get towards the end of our assembly. If you are struggling with anything, please contact your tutor. You're going to get a weekly phone call from them, so speak to them on the weekly phone call, or you can get hold of me or Mr. Raymond if you need anything. You can get us on Teams, you can phone school. Remember that your work needs completing for all your lessons, so following your timetable. We should all be following our timetable now on Teams. Getting on to each lesson at the right time is important, because your teacher will be there at that time. Get yourself into that routine, control what you can control, and I repeat this every week. Don't get worried about things there's no point worrying about, because this is something I do and I'm trying to teach myself not to. Keep going, stay motivated, follow that, log on to that website there if you need anything to help you do that, but stay safe and I'll see you as soon as possible. Take care everyone, bye bye.